Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 242nd Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. And yet again, it's a midweek bonus battle, and I hope you enjoy it. The team I'm in today is Brotherhood with Brotherhood member Crypto, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. As you know, Crypto's had a 4 or 5 year break from RTW and is back now and enjoying it as much as he ever did. My next teammate is Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who's also bought the Rome Scipio faction. Just like to draw your attention to Steve has only got 3 cavalry and 15 infantry. So it'll be interesting to see if that number of infantry make up for only 3 cavalry. Should be interesting to see as the battle unfolds. And then our third teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought a very old Carthage army here, once again just to see how good this old army would do on the modern day battlefield. You see no cavalry in this army, just pikes and some slingers. So there's our team. You wait till you see the other team. And here is the other team. We have Greeks member Cleomenes, who has bought the Macedon faction. As a lot of you will know, the Greeks clan's mission on Rome Total War was to be the best clan with the pike faction, and to this end they practiced for hours and hours and hours to become the best faction with pikes, and I think most RTW players would agree they succeeded in that. And whenever you see a Greeks clansman with a pike faction opposite you on the battlefield, you know you're in for a battle, especially an experienced player like Cleomenes, who's been playing the game for years. And as I say, he looks to me like he's got about 14, is it, something like that, 12, 14 pike units, 4 companion cavalry units, and 2 Cretan archers. So that looks like a pretty robust army to me. And as I say, Cleomenes has been playing this for years, and he knows the best army that suits him. As you can see, there's the companion cavalry, 4 units of them. So as I say, that's a pretty good experienced army there, I would say. And his next teammate is a Greeks member Bubo. As you can see, he's made a bit of a curious formation there. Looks like a question mark. And he's got, I think, about 12 infantry units, and I think he's got something like 6 or 7 archers, Cretan archers there. So that's also a formidable army. As he's only got 12 infantry, I'm thinking he's probably got very good upgrades on those pikes. So it should be interesting to see how well they do during the course of the battle. And their third teammate is RTW player Thor. He's called himself Thorus in this game, but it is actually RTW player Thor, and he has bought the Rome SBQR faction. So there's the other team there. Let's say we're up against 2 experienced Macedon generals and a very good player in Thor with the SBQR army. This should be a great battle for you to watch, and I hope you enjoy it. At this very early stage of the battle here, you can see that both Macedon armies have combined to move forward. Can you see that Thor has moved some of his SBQR units out to the flank of the combined Macedon army, and Thor's got his main army on our right flank there. But it's a smart move by the Macedon generals there, kind of massing their pikes to maybe even face my Carthage army there. That's a lot of long pikes there. At this stage of the battle, you can see that Bubo has moved his Macedon army forward towards my Carthage army. Now remember that Bubo, I think, has got, I would think, probably 8 upgrades on that infantry. I'm just thinking he's probably got 2 experienced stripes, gold shield, gold attack on there. So that would be extremely tough units there. Can you see that Thor is starting to try chase off some of my Carthage slingers there? Remember, the Balearic slingers have got good range. But I just want to have a look at the length of those Macedon pikes. Now, whatever army you bring to face Macedon, you've got to fight your way down those long pikes to actually kill the man on the other end. As I say, I think as Bubo's only bought, I think it's 12 infantry units there. I'm thinking they've got extremely good upgrades on, which will make a difference as well during the course of the battle. As you can see, Steve is bringing his Scipio army across here onto the flank. If you notice that Thor's cavalry is still chasing down my my slingers there. I think what I've done at this stage, I've put my slingers on alt attack while I move a couple of pike units over to help them there. And Thor, seeing that, has now moved his cavalry back. So there's a general disposition of the battlefield at the moment. As you can see, Crypto is looks a little bit on his own over there, and I think he's noticed that, and that's why he's moving a little bit over towards us now. He's got Cleomenes' Macedon army in front of him, and he's got Thor's SBQR army looking like he's trying to flank him there. Very sorry about that. Just had a pop-up come up, stop the game. Yeah, it's such a nuisance when that happens, so very sorry about that. Hope it doesn't spoil your entertainment too much there. Anyway, back to the battle now. As you can see here, Steve moving his Scipio army out of my formation towards the Macedon army in front of me. Now what I'm thinking he's thinking here is he's going to give that Macedon army a mass pilot attack. He's probably going to put all his units on auto fire and really try and cause as many casualties as he can amongst that Macedon army. That's why I think he's moved forward there. But what I want to do, I want to get my Carthage army into action as soon as possible, and I want to start to engage those Macedon pikemen as soon as I can there. If you notice, there's a couple of SBQR units, 3 SBQR units have moved around our flank. But as you can see now, I think Steve is starting to throw the pilers into that Macedon army there. If you see, there's loads and loads of pilers being thrown into the ranks of those Macedon units. But remember, each one of those units have got 120 men in. So even though they're susceptible to missile fire, because they've got 120 men in per unit, even though you cause a lot of casualties, there's still a lot of those Macedon pikemen left. As you can see, the 2 pike armies are pretty well integrated there. I think ready to assist each other if there's any problems at all. As you can see, Thor's got, as I say, 3 SBQR infantry units plus a couple of cavalry units around this left flank. Let's just pause again for a second. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you can see that I've actually moved my Carthage army forward, ready to engage the Macedon army. And straight away, can you see that both of the Macedon generals, as I say, they're both Greeks clansmen, so they know each other's play, and they play with each other quite a lot on Rome Total War. They know each other's play here. So if you notice, they've combined their army now to try and take my Carthage army on. Lots of pikes there, and remember, like I said, there's 120 men in each of those units, so with that many men, that's quite a lot. Let's just pause again for a second for us to take stock of exactly what's happening. As I say there, you've got the combined 2 Macedon armies there facing my Carthage army, so that's a lot of pikes there. As you can see over on our right flank here, Thor is facing Crypto, and as you can see, Steve with his Scipio army is just coming in. Looks like he's moving over to this left flank. If you notice, I'm just adjusting the position of my army there, and can you see that the Macedon pikemen have moved forward, so they're now engaging me. It's a nice little move by Steve, bringing his army over to this left flank there. Hopefully he's going to disrupt the attack that they were hoping to put in on my Carthage army. As I said, as you can see, Steve's moving his army over to the left flank there. Right, what I'm doing with my Carthage Sacred Band units at the moment, I'm attacking flat out. The first 2 rows of my pikemen have gone forward into those Macedon pike units there. I'm not gonna hang around here. I'm gonna take the attack to the enemy. I'm going to move those Sacred Band pikemen in against those Macedon units as soon as I can here. The more of those Macedon pike units I can suck into this battle, then the more that maybe my teammates can get around their flanks or around the rear. There's a close-up of the 2 pike armies facing each other there. As I say, each one of my Sacred Band have only got about 80 men in, where each one of those Macedon units have got 120 men, so you can see there's a big advantage in men there. Over here on our right flank, can you see that the enemy SBQR cavalry is waiting out there on the right to attack just when it wants to. I think Crypto's ready for that, because I notice he's got his cavalry at the back ready to counter-attack if necessary here. As you can see, there's a couple of Macedon units starting to rout already as I'm trying to put the pressure onto these huge Macedon pike units. You notice here Crypto's moved over here to help me on the flank. Nice little move there. And if you notice on the other flank, Steve's also got units helping me on the flank. Stop the enemy getting around the flank of my Carthage army. Right, can you see the enemy SBQR cavalry charging in to Crypto's forward units there? Now remember, when you've got units in open order like those pilot shield units are, they're very susceptible to being routed by a big cavalry hit. As you saw, one of his units just routed there. As you notice, the enemy SBQR infantry have moved over to their Macedon ally to try and protect their flank as well. And also you might notice that the Macedon cavalry are moving over to our left flank. I noticed that Bubo didn't have any cavalry in his army. He just had those 12 well upgraded pikemen, and I think it was 6 or 7 Cretan archers. You see Cleomenes is charging his companion cavalry into Steve's cavalry there. Let's just pause the game for a second. So there's a massive cavalry and infantry tussle going on this left flank. Interesting to see that. As I say, in the centre you can see I'm still trying to punch ahead with my Carthage army through all those dense pikes that are in front of me. And over on our right flank here you can see that Crypto and Thor's cavalry and infantry are having a real tussle there on the right flank. But remember, these Cretan archers are firing arrows into us all the time through the battle. You know, we might not show that so often as we're showing other things on the battlefield, but remember, we're getting hit by arrows all the time from those powerful enemy Cretan archers. As you can see here on the right, it's really 50-50 here who's going to win this. It wouldn't surprise me if one of them pulled their cavalry back in a minute, rallied and then charged back in. As you can see, Thor's moving his cavalry back out the way there. But it's a real tussle here on this right flank between Thor and Crypto. Be interesting to see what happens there. As you can see, I'm still advancing with my my sacred band into the mass of those Macedon pikemen there. Meanwhile, over on the left here, Steve's doing quite well, I think. I think 2 of those 3 units that infantry units that Thor sent over have been routed. I think there's only 1 unit still left now. So well done, Steve, but he's facing dense pikemen there. So my guess is you'll probably think about taking units around the flank and rear there. As I say, in the centre here, I'm still trying to force my way forward in against those Macedon pikes there. And over here on the right here, you can see that Crypto has gone through the enemy ranks and got behind them. But also, can you see Thor's got behind Crypto's infantry as well. So it's kind of, as I say, it's like really 50-50 up here. But if you notice that Thor is turning his cavalry into the rear of Crypto's engaged troops. But Crypto spotted that, I noticed that, and turned his infantry to face that charge. Whereas Crypto's taken his cavalry off. I think his idea there was to get behind the engaged Macedon pikemen to smash into them. But unfortunately his battle damaged cavalry has been caught at the rear of the enemy there. And most of them now has been routed. But if you notice, he's bringing infantry round the rear of these engaged pikemen. Nice move there by Crypto. Getting in behind them, but he's still got a lot of enemy SBQR troops here. As I say, it still looks like pretty 50-50 here on the right flank between the 2 armies. As I say, don't forget, our troops are being bombarded by archer fire all the time, coming in onto the rear and flank of our troops, sucking the morale out of our army there. As you can see here, I'm still advanced forward. Can you see though that if you notice, my troops are pretty tired, and can you see the Macedon troops are fresh there? Right, can you see over on the left flank here, Cleomenes is sending his cavalry in to the rear and flank of Steve's engaged infantry. Nice surgical cavalry hit there by Cleomenes, routing some of Steve's units there. and I see one of the enemy SBQR cavalry coming behind. Right, let's just pause the game for a second to take stock of exactly what's happening. As you see here, Steve's moved some units around the rear of those pike units there. A nice tactical move there, moving them around the rear, pinning them at the front and trying to take units around the rear. That's a typical tactic there by Rome to take on pikes. In the centre here, you can see I'm still pushing forward. That man there, Sacred Band unit, fought to the last man there, and one man left. But I'm still trying to push on there. And over here on our right flank, remember that our teammate Crypto is the blue Scipii, and the enemy Thor is SBQR, the purple SBQR there. So as you can see, it's pretty 50-50 there on the right flank. So it's extremely close on both flanks, I think, here at the moment. I see both Macedon and Scipio units are starting to rout here on this right flank. I can see a couple of SBQR cavalry units waiting to charge in, and bang as that cavalry hits. Straight into the back of Steve's engaged infantry unit there. Nice cavalry hit. I think on the left flank here we seem to be in a bit of trouble. Right, can you see that the Macedon general is alt-attacked with his Macedon archers here, and they're charging in with their knives into the back of my tired Sacred Band units. It wouldn't surprise me if it routed. There you go, routed one of my units there. Crypto sent in one of his battle damaged infantry units to go into the back of that archer units that's just alt-attacked the rear of my attacking units. But as you can see, a lot of my my units have now been killed. Trying to fight those long Macedon pike units there. Can you see that? Just going to pause the game for a second. If you notice there, can you see that my guys are exhausted and tired because they've been attacking and fighting all the way through the battle? But if you notice that the Macedon infantry are fresh, or just warmed up, because all they've done is just stood still and waited for my infantry to fight through and rout other Macedon units to get to them. So they're still warmed up or even fresh, and my guys are exhausted or really tired, and that really makes a difference in this in RTW. Nice little move here by Crypto, taking infantry in behind the engaged pike units here. And over on our left flank here, as you can see, Steve's moved units all around here trying to get to the rear and the flank of pike units there. But these that's one Macedon general down. There's that SBQR cavalry's been a nuisance there. There was a couple of units charging in, just charging, causing casualties to Steve's units, then pulling back out. Nice use of cavalry there. Charge in, get the full cavalry charge bonus, pull out. Right, if you notice now that Macedon's moved some more pike units over to where my Carthage army is. And bearing in mind, like I say, my units are all exhausted, extremely battle damaged. I think my general's just been killed. So I think the chances of my men being able to fight on now are pretty small. Can you see a lot of my units are now starting to rout? I've got some of the enemy SBQR coming in behind my units as well there, so just finishing them off. So I think basically that's my entire army's just been routed there. Steve's bringing some of his units in. He won well on that left flank against all those pikemen and those SBQR units, so well done to him. Let's say Crypto done well on the other flank as well. But the dense mass of those 120 man Macedon pike units, I think has actually really told against our armies there. I think we're out of cavalry as well now. I can see the enemy just charging back in with battle damage cavalry. As I say, they're throwing in their archers here in alt attack. That SBQR cavalry still charging in there as well. So I think by and large here, it looks like the enemy team have. Well, it looks to me like they've probably gone on to win this at this time. You see, Steve still got his general there, giving morale to his troops, but with all this coming in behind him, his troops were pretty tired as well and battle damaged. And now the Macedon pikes start moving forward as well in an aggressive way. They've been stood in defensive mode for most of the battle, but now at this time they move forward just to finish off the the enemy Rome infantry that were still fighting there. As you can see, this is only a 3v3 battle, but if you look at the dead on the battlefield from one end to the other, it just goes to show how intense the fighting was for this 3v3 battle. As you can see, completely from one flank all the way through to the centre, dense dead in the centre as well, and then all the way over to the other flank there. You see Steve's general's just been killed, but as I said, you can see you know, really how intense and tough the fighting was in this battle, and just say really well done to the enemy team there. And that's the last of our allies units have just been routed there.
Your army has failed. The enemy has triumphed.
Right, the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. Well done to Thor, Bubo and Greek Cleomenes. Well done you three. Really nice way you played that battle. Some really nice micromanagement of those pike units there. Really well done. I was just going to say, Bubo, I looked at the upgrades on your infantry there. As I say, I think you had 8 upgrades on each one of your Macedon pikemen, so really well done there. And some nice kills for you too. I thought Steve and Crypto did extremely well on their flanks there. And my old Carthage army didn't do too badly, really, I don't think. But I think the massed pikes of those two Macedon armies did us in the end there. But it was a great battle to be in. As I say, really well played. And well done, as I said, to Steve and Crypto. Right, just have a look at the battle statistics of my Carthage army. I don't think really any of my units had outstanding kills there. But they did okay against those, as I say, the mass formation of those Macedon pikes there. I didn't think that old army did too bad. So just to say, really well played to everybody in the game. I hope you enjoyed watching this midweek bonus battle, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up. Bye for now.